All right, so they are going to be gnats around Tom Brady. Sacking, obviously, I guess, in his opinion, is not going to be effective enough. But we saw what Von Miller did against Brady, right? So I think you got to get to it. Being a gnat, I could see the Jaguars doing that and being quite effective at it. So
I agree. A really tough defense, playing reckless lately here in the postseason. Great stuff. And you're clearly a fan as you're wearing a teal tie, even though you're trying to pretend you're being impartial. It's cool.
No. Let's not start that. I just happen to wear this, okay? Let's not say it's low-key Eagles or it's teal because of the Jags. It's, I just happen to wear this.
Low-key. We're not low-key Eagles. We're not buying it, Will.
Listen, 10 fingers down on the keyboard, okay? 10 fingers down on the keyboard.
I got a tealing, Will. I think you're up to something.
You got a tealing. Leave it to you. Away with words there, KB.
Black-eyed peas.
Duval.
Teal-eyed peas.
Low-key Eagles. That's a hashtag right there. Good stuff, Will.
No. It's got nothing to do with it. Come on, guys.
After an epic throwdown round 2, remember, time to share what we learned this week for games in the books. Nate, what do you got?
All right, so what I learned is that Vikings wide receiver Stefon Diggs was made for clutch moments like this one that he had on Sunday up against the Saints. Now, here's the thing. I want to break this down in a way that you guys can understand. There's something called tight window catches. That is when you have less than 1 yard of separation from the nearest defender at the point of the catch. Stefon Diggs, in the entire NFL, leads the league 113.1 passer rating, 27 catches, 419, and 3 TDs. Now, what does that mean, you ask? There's a 50-50 ball whenever you go up and there's a defender right next to you. Oftentimes, as a wide receiver, you run a route and you know that you're either going to get hit or the guy next to you is going to attempt to bat down the ball or go intercept the ball. Receivers that have nerves of steel, like Stefon Diggs, they track the ball, see where it's coming, find it, find the DB, and then they go up and they go blank. They don't worry about getting hit. They don't worry about him. They don't worry about the noise. They don't worry about the crowd. They don't worry about the other defenders. And when I'm looking at what he's done this season, he's done it better than a lot of guys. Now, on this list, you have guys like Marvin Jones, Devontae Adams, A.J. Green, Queenie Britt. But check out these plays. You'll see defenders draped all over him, and he's going to catch the ball, make a play, and explode just like he did in the game. So when you see an amazing play, oftentimes you say, oh, my gosh, luck is on our side. No, it's not luck. Just like Odell Beckham practices one-handed catches and he ended up doing it in the game, Stefon Diggs, he practiced contested catches. So when you see this highlight over and over and over again, I want you to know that Stefon Diggs, he did it over and over and over again. So in that moment, there wasn't any panic. There wasn't any disruption. There wasn't any distraction. He just went up and did what he routinely does. So shout out to you, Stefon Diggs.
That's cool. A couple of things, when you talk about contested catches like that, it makes me think of all that combine minutia, like hand measurement and catch radius and vertical. He has all of that. And the other thing, I read a quote from him after that where he talked about why he didn't go out of bounds. And he said in the middle of the play, he took a photograph and he saw that there was one guy there so that he knew if that guy missed, he could go. He took a mental photo mid-play, which was some crazy Jedi receiver talk, but it worked, obviously.
We talk about it all the time, last line of defense and knowing where that guy is, the ultimate awareness. He felt one guy miss and thought to myself, that's it. That's all they have behind me.
They also say that this guy, Pat Shurmur, they run that play weekly in practice. They run that exact play that they ran where it's, okay, we're in scramble mode, get to the end, get to the sideline. Like you said, this was not just one play in a vacuum. This was a career and a season in the making for exactly what happened.
What's going on back there?
This is Pat Shurmur. Apparently, sure looks good.
You also got Hail Pat over
Hail
there.
Pat, the Giants
Hail Patty.
It's like the Giants fans are settling a little bit here, and they're just convincing themselves that Shurmur is the one they want it all along.
Out of the gates with the pun game. I don't hate it.
There's a new guy on that back page to coach the Giants every day of the week. All right, what I learned a couple of weeks ago when the playoffs started was I looked at a list and I thought, what do these teams all have in common? And 9 of the top 10 teams had the top 10 running attack, right? In order to get into the playoffs, you have to run the ball really well. Well, in order to advance, in order to get to the AFC or the NFC championship, you have to have a defense that is maybe better than your offense. I feel like everybody talks about you need a franchise quarterback, you need a guy like Brady. Well, Big Ben and Drew Brees, they're sitting at home this week. Look at the top 5 defenses this season, top 5 scoring defenses, right? Points allowed per game, that's what we're looking at here. But they're also top 5 in scoring. 4 of the 5 are the best defenses. So we're sitting here, and Schrager, you posed the question yesterday, like, you think Brady looks at this list of quarterbacks and he's like, I think he is confident in any opponent. I think if it's like him versus Superman, he's like, all right, bring it on. But looking at those, it's not him, like you said, facing Bortles or facing Keenum. He's facing three of the best defenses in the league this season. And it's not just the fact that maybe it's not necessary to have a franchise quarterback, because unless you're telling me that Blake Bortles and Nick Foles and Case Keenum are, you do need the pieces on defense, which also happen to be some of the best characters that we've seen in the league. Yeah. Usually it's diva wide receiver, sorry.
It's all right, we are.
You know what I mean? Offensive guys that we're talking about on the regular, even on this show, but my favorite guests this season have been the defensive guys in recent memory. Look at Everson Griffin joining our show.
Skull Vikes, and it would be a pleasure to see you guys in Minneapolis come Super Bowl. Yeah. Keep balling out there. Awesome. Skull
Here's the deal, though. That's at like 7 in the morning. That's at 6 in the morning in Minnesota with a full day on his plate. He had a baby, and he wrote on his shirt, what do I name my son? And he named him Bash Griffin, and he entertained your silly ideas. It's just wild to me. Defensive players, I think, have a little bit of a stereotype of being more on the quiet side. Then you look at a guy like Jalen Ramsey. I almost didn't want to use him because we talk about him so much, but you can't talk about characters on defense without Jalen the GOAT.
I ain't got too much to say, but y'all make sure y'all bring that same energy out here next week and the week after. We going to the Super Bowl, and we going to win that.
Leave something out there.
Jalen Ramsey, your #1 trash talk distributor in the NFL. And last but not least, look at a guy like Chris Long. He's there. He wins the Super Bowl last year with the Patriots. I wouldn't mind seeing him there bum rushing the NBC postgame set like he did last year when Fox was there and his dad was at the game. He was part of this whole movement started because of Chris Long, one of the best personalities in the league, a guy who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and loves My Morning Jacket, and a guy who was playing for free this year, who's in the hole from buying that mask probably because he donated his entire salary towards equality in education. He donated it towards scholarships in his community, his hometown in Virginia. He established Pledge 10, all around great personality. Wouldn't mind seeing him go all the way.
Doggone it.
Another great collab. Look at those guys.
Can't buy them online anymore.
No. You got to go black market or something like that.
Can't wait to see those
Defense is running the show. That's what I learned.
I love that Jalen Ramsey starts by, I don't know much to say, but we're going to win the Super Bowl. How perfect. How perfect is that?
It's like on any stage ever if you gave you a microphone.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't like it. Okay, huh?
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, fine. Twist my arm.
Yeah.
That was him.
That's what we learned. What did you guys learn,
Ron
Nate?
Burgundy with food.
And I went, Peter, Kyle, you're up.